Cubase. For example, right here, as you can see, I have this drum kit. This is my Modern 80s Drum Kit Max that was just released in December. And if you want to check it out, I'm going to link the video here. You can also pick it up, and this way you're supporting the channel. As you can see, when I go here, you will see that Halion Sonic, in my case, has this nice icon that portrays my Modern 80s Kit Max. This goes for pretty much every internal Cubase Steinberg plugin. Let's go to our media here, and I'm going to go to my VSTFX. You will see that if we go to Steinberg, all the Steinberg plugins have nice icons. So if I want to drag and drop this Poltec style EQ on my Modern 80s Kit, I can just drag it, drop it, and this will be added on my channel straight away. If I go, for example, to another developer, let's go to one of my favorite developers, Baby Audio, for example, you will see that the plugins don't have icons, so they look kind of generic. You don't really know what's going on. Now, if I want to add an icon to this plugin, all I need to do is, what I like to do is I like to make the plugin look exactly how I want to. For example, I like this to be black for me, and maybe I'm going to just add a little bit of drive here to make it look a little bit more fancy. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this little icon right here. See this kind of like a camera icon? I'm going to click on this and check what happens right here. I'm going to click on this. Boom! There we go. Now we have the icon for this specific plugin. And one of the things that I would say that you can try and do is make sure you have icons for all your favorite plugins. Again, something that I see so many Cubase users not taking advantage of. The next tip is a mixing tip, and it has to do with the beloved channel EQ. Now, as you know, if you use your low band right here, you get this kind of curves. If I apply this to my Modern 80s Drum Kit Max,
we've all been there. 20 website structures can sometimes feel like solving a puzzle. Instead of using a million different tools, simply brief AI with the details. You'll get a clear structure type map in seconds, and you're ready to export and share it with your client. Now go design something and still love tomorrow.
You know, this is the standard Cubase EQ behavior, but did you know that if you want to have a Poltec style EQ curve for your low end, which is something that many people use, many people buy plugins for, you can actually do this on the actual channel EQ in Cubase for every channel that you have inside your project. And here's how you do it. One way is to use your Q settings right here. So I'm going to add a little bit of low end, and then I'm going to turn up the Q and check what happens. There we go. And there's your Poltec-like curve. And this is a curve that I love using for kick drums. So I'm going to solo the kick drum on my Modern 80s kit. Let's see how it sounds. Compared to... But I have a bonus tip for you. Try out the low shelf 4 curve. Now, when you do this, you will see that your curve becomes like this. So this gives you like a nice resonance for your boosting frequency. So this is great for kick drums. It really allows you to get some thump, but at the same time, it retains this Poltec style EQ curve. See how this kick drum acquires so much thump and low end, but at the same time, it's clean, and this mid-range gets kind of dipped, which is what we like to hear with Poltec EQs. So let's listen to the difference. Massively different. So before you reach out to a third-party EQ, try out the humble but amazing channel EQ in Cubase, because you can do so much more than what meets the eye. And I'm going to stick with another mixing tip, and again, this is a tip that's very well hidden, I have to admit, and many Cubase users know about this, but this is about having a very clear overview of your routing, of your signal path for every channel. So for example, right here, I have this choir channel. This is just one voice of a choir. That's maybe 8 voices. And this goes to a group, and then the group goes to the master out. Now, when I open this channel here, it's impossible to know how I've routed this channel. But if I go here and click on this icon, did you know that you can expand your routing and you can see the entire signal flow? So as you can see, here's my choir channel, and it goes to the choir's bus, and then the bus goes to the stereo out. And sometimes in complicated mixes, you might have a signal flow that has several stages, so this might extend more and more. And it's very useful to have a nice overview of what's going on for all your channels, because otherwise it's very easy to get lost. The next tip that I want to show you is a great little production tool that I know that many of you are going to enjoy if you haven't used it already, and this is a MIDI plugin called Step Designer. This lives under your MIDI inserts, and when I open it, you will see that this is a very cool step sequencer that lives inside Cubase, and many people are completely oblivious to this MIDI plugin. So let me show you what you can do. I'm going to just hit play on my keyboard. I'm not going to do anything, and here's what you can create just with a Step Designer. So what you can do is you can create sequences right here. So if I want to change a note, for example, let's see. And then I can have control over the velocity. So I can add different velocity curves right here. And I can even control the gate. So I can have longer notes that move on to shorter notes like this. I can control, for example, my filter like this. And then you can have multiple patterns, so I can go to pattern number 2, 3, and so on and so forth. It's a nice step sequencer that you can use with every synth inside Cubase. In this case, I'm using it with Retolog. If you're wondering, this is not...
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
303 emulation. This is Retolog that's inside Cubase, but you can use it with any third-party plugin that doesn't have a sequencer, a built-in sequencer, and you can have a sequencer for every one of these plugins. So did you know about Step Designer? If you like it, leave a like, and if you didn't know about it, again, leave a like because it really helps, and I hope that now you're going to use it. Next, the next tip that I want to give you is a lifesaver if you want to record something in real time and you're using plugins that introduce latency to your project. These kind of plugins could be look-ahead limiters, it could be reverbs, it could be delays, it could be really intensive plugins. Imagine, I've been in this situation many times. We were almost ready to finalize a project and I got a request to record an extra part. Maybe a MIDI part with a virtual instrument, or an additional piano part, or a vocal, or something like this. When you are in the final stages and you've already added your limiters and all these things, then you will find that you have loads of latency in your project, or your recordings might not be aligned because you're listening with latency and then everything is shifted. So in order to be able to record with zero latency, no matter what you've done in your project, no matter where you are in the production phase, what you can do is you can click this magic icon right here. See this? Constraint delay compensation. Now, if you don't have this activated, you just right click here and you make sure you just activate it. See, constraint delay compensation, make sure it's on, and then you just hit on this, and then what happens is Cubase will deactivate any plugin that introduces latency to your monitoring, to your recording, so that you can play everything in time and you don't experience like delays and annoying things, especially when you're playing like drums and stuff like this. It's kind of impossible to do this. Just to give you an example, I have Razer here, which is a look ahead peak limiter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the constraint delay compensation and check what happens. Once I do this, Razer immediately turns off because this plugin introduces latency, and Cubase makes sure that this is not in the equation. When I deactivate it, Razer is back on and ready to go. Next tip is a Cubase feature that has been in Cubase for a while now, but I see very few people using it. And this is a feature that, especially if you're doing a lot of recordings of yourself, oh my gosh, you're gonna be so happy that you're using it. I'm talking about the re-record function in Cubase, and this works both for audio and MIDI recordings. So let me give you an example. Let's say I want to record this piano part. This is going to be in MIDI, so I'm going to hit the star key to start recording. Count down. Oops, I made a mistake. So what you would normally do, hit stop, then you have to delete, and then you have to either go back to where you were before with your cursor. In this case, I have it to go back to the start position, and then I'm going to have to hit the star key again to start recording. But check what you can do. If you go right here, see, you can click on this and see, instead of punch in, punch out, you can just hit re-record. And check what this does. This is so cool, so fast. I'm going to hit record now. Oops, I made a mistake. I'm going to hit record again. Boom! The mistake was erased, and the recording starts again from the top. This is like if you have a recording engineer to do this for you, like what professional studios do. They have an engineer. You make a mistake, you say, oh, sorry, let's do it again. Stops, deletes the take, starts again. You don't have to do all this. Just hit record. Oh, I messed up. How cool is that? Let me know if this is a boom moment for you and if you knew about this trick. The next tip I want to show you is about one of my favorite plugins in Cubase, and this is, of course, Supervision. I use it all the time. It's permanently glued on my second monitor right here. Here I have a really complex Supervision setup. This is one of my detailed mixing setups that I use all the time. But did you know that if you want to have a full screen view of any one of these meters, you can just double click on any one of the meters, and then you have a nice big display of this meter. Let me show you.
You're going to be really blown away by this. So I'm going to press this and see what it gives us.
It's amazing to play chord progressions in it. It's very, very easy to apply. Simply press generate. That sounds really cool.
It's finally time. MIDI-Wizard 2.0 is out right now. This is the ultimate new way to instantly generate crazy chord progressions and melodies in 32 genres and yet infinite inspiration.
We put 32 different genres in this plugin alone, with 3 unique modes that allow you to focus on chord progressions or top melodies, or a hybrid mode, which is a combination of both. So there's literally trillions of possibilities. Nothing's pre-made. Everything is generated fresh every time you click the randomize button.
The possibilities are endless, and you can have so much fun doing this. All you gotta do is select your genre, select your key, and see what it gives us. plus the ability to finish tracks so much faster and incorporate new AI technology so you can stay ahead of the curve when it comes to all the other music producers out there competing for your plays and income.
Hundreds of producers are secretly getting their hands on it. And if you've seen some of those haters online calling using AI cheating, they said the same thing about using consoles to produce instead of laptops. But don't be a part of that group. Be a part of the group that's an early adopter, gets on new technology and uses it to gain an unfair competitive advantage, and most importantly, just to make your best music.
It's not meant to replace you as a creative or as a musician or to make you lazy or anything like that. Unison MIDI Wizard is a tool that any musician can benefit from in their studios.
I think it actually impressed me. It was a lot of fun to use.
So if you want to check out the Unison MIDI Wizard, the link will be in the description.
Link will be in the description, so be sure to check it out.
To get the full details, click the button below. Running a special limited time launch deal. If you're seeing this ad, you still can't get it, but in a few hours today or tomorrow, the price might have already jumped way up. So don't procrastinate. Click the button to check out all the details, check out the demo and the full walkthrough. And I'll see you inside.
Prefer 多貨幣 Mastercard 扣盡卡，趁靚 rate 入定外幣，喺海外買嘢直接扣數，零手續費。哈哈，你轉仲飛身玩到盡，轉用 Payday Plus 出糧，賺到盡，慳到盡，玩到盡。CP 值超強，神報主包盡份糧每一蚊。而家手機開 Prefer Banking 戶口，可享高達2700蚊獎賞啊！
So Supervision has also some tips up its sleeve. The next one is going to be a super quick one. Let's say you have your bars display right here in your project window, but for a second you want to see where you are when it comes to your time display. As you can see right now, always in my project I have a ruler that's set in seconds. But if you don't have this, if you want to check where you are in your project very quickly, all you need to do is hit your full stop key on your keyboard and check what happens. Immediately you turn your bars into minutes and seconds. So you have a time display instead of a bar display. Hit your full stop key again and you can toggle between these two modes. The next thing might be one of the most common questions that I get when it comes to Cubase, and this is, hey Dom, I see that on your Cubase you have the freeze button on your audio channels. I don't have this. Or you have your show lanes button right there, or you have your read write automation there. I don't have all this. Why is that? Let me show you, because this is really hidden and I know that most people know this, but I know that this causes a lot of frustration for so many Cubase users. All you need to do is you need to go right here to this cogwheel symbol and click on this. And this opens up the track control settings. So right here you will see we have all the channel tabs. We have audio, we have instrument, we have sampler, we have MIDI, groups, and so on and so forth. All these channel tabs you can customize so that you have the track control exactly how you want them. You don't need to have more controls if you don't need them. So for example, if I go to audio right here, you will see that I have my freeze button activated. It's my visible controls. On the other hand, my listen button that I use all the time, but I have a shortcut for this, that's why I don't have it activated, is in the hidden controls. Now, if I add this to my visible controls, there we go. We have our listen button right here. And if I want to have it a little bit higher in the hierarchy, I can just move it here, hit apply. Actually, we get a nice preview right here as well. See? So now I have my listen button first in line if you really want to do this. And let's say I want to have my freeze freeze a little bit earlier in the actual configuration, I can move it up, and as you can see, that's how it's going to appear. There we go, and my freeze button is right there. The same goes for instrument channels, the same goes for the sampler tracks. So there we go, these were the 10 hidden tips that I wanted to show you, but if you're still here, and if you still haven't clicked away, I'm going to reward you because I'm going to give you one last tip. So let's say, for example, that you have some settings for one specific plugin. Let's say I have this Lindell de-esser right here, which I'm a big fan of, and I've created these settings, and this de-esser I want to use for multiple vocal channels. How do you copy these settings? Many people, what they do is they copy the entire plugin, but what if you've already added the plugin on all your vocal channels and you don't want to delete it and re-add it again? How do you copy the settings? There are actually two ways to do this, but they're a little bit hidden. So if you want to copy the settings from one channel to the other, but only for this specific plugin, you go here, see this functions button right here, and you can actually choose to copy the settings. Now let me open another instance, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click right here and then apply paste Lindell settings, and now you will see that the settings are copied between the two plugins. Another way to do this, which is also very easy, is you go here, you right click on the plugin and you copy Lindell settings, and then you go to another instance and paste them. And this is it. You don't have to copy the entire plugin or save the preset and reload it on the other plugin. This is how you do it super easy. So there you go, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. In the comments down below, let me know which one of these tips did you already know, which one of these tips did you already know and have been using them so you didn't forget about them. And be honest, let me know in the comments down below. Also, give us your tips. I would really like to see your favorite Cubase tips. Let's share with the Cubase community. I'm pretty sure that many people will find your comment down there and it's going to make their day. If you want to support the channel, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, or even use the super thanks button right here. Or you can get one of my instruments, the Modern 80s Drum Kit Max, or the Apollo expansion for Patcho. I would love it if you check them out and made some music with them. You can also get one of these beautiful t-shirts. I'm gonna link them down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you let me know down below so I can make more of these. And in the meanwhile, you might enjoy this video or this video. Thank you, my friends. Bye-bye.
If you haven't exercised in years, you have to start small with my beginner-friendly Tai Chi class. 3 reasons every man over 40 should start doing Tai Chi workout today. 1. It's one of the only workouts proven to help you live longer. Seriously, it's backed by science. 2. Just 1 week in and you'll notice the difference. Less stiffness, better balance and more energy even after long days. 3. No gym, no gear, no pressure, just 7 calm minutes a day, right at home. It's simple, it works, and it might just change the way you age. Start now. Your future self will be glad you did.
Hello everyone, Dom here, and in this video we're going to talk about a subject that comes up every now and then in the comments, so I thought I'd make a video about this. And this is the difference between bounce selection, render in place, and freeze, and when you should use each in Cubase. Right after this. Gives us many options when we want to render a piece of audio, when we want to bounce a piece of audio in place, and there are 3 main ways that you can do this, apart from audio mixdown, of course. And this is bounce in place, render in place, and freeze. And some people get confused on when they should use each one. What are the use cases? So in this video, I'm going to try and demystify this. I'm going to show you how I use each method and why it's better to use one method over the other depending on the case. So let's start with the very obvious one, and this is bounce in place. Now, what is bounce in place? Bounce in place is basically a feature that has been in Cubase for quite a while. It's not new, and it's basically a feature that exists in most DAWs, to be honest with you. So first, let me show you where you find bounce in place. You go to audio, and then it's right here, bounce selection, okay? That's how it's called in Cubase. Now, why would you want to use something like this? Let's say, for example, that I have these vocals here, these vocal chops, right? And let's say I want to turn them into a concrete audio file. This is one of the reasons why you would use bounce in place. It doesn't take into account any of the effects that you have. It takes into account any fade-ins, any fade-outs, any changes in volume like this. So all you need to do is select them, go to audio, and then select bounce selection. In my case, I also have a shortcut, Control-Alt-B. So when you do this, then Cubase is going to ask me if I want to replace the events. Let's hit replace. And now you can see that we have a concrete, continuous audio event that I can use very, very easily. It's very easy to handle. It's very easy rather than getting all these little pieces of audio and trying to move them around or edit them. So this is one of the reasons why you use bounce selection or bounce in place. Now, another reason why you might want to use bounce selection is, as you can see, for example, in this piece of audio, I have audio warp activated. So I'm actually stretching this audio in real time. Now, this can be quite intensive for some computers, right? In my case, it runs fine. I don't use the bounce selection, but sometimes you might find that when you have lots of audio events, sometimes when you have lots of time stretching, sometimes when you have lots of hit points activated, then you might find that the computer might become a little bit slow. So in this case, a very easy way to remedy this is to just select your audio, bounce selection, and then everything is basically bounced in the new file. So this doesn't take any CPU resources. It doesn't use any of the time stretching algorithms. It doesn't use the value. It's basically a new audio file that we just created into your hard drive. Now, what I tend to do when I do this is I always like to go here and create a duplicate version before I start doing all these things. Because when you do this, you can just create a new version, and I can say, okay, I want to Command-Alt-B, bounce this selection, replace. But then if I want to say go back to the original files, I can just go to the previous version. As you can see, they're right there. So Cubase gives you a lot of options. Of course, all these files remain in your pool. So if you press Control and P or Command and P on the Mac, you will find the pool, and here you find all the files that you have in your project. So it's always a non-destructive process, but I like to keep things neat and have a duplicate version right there, just in case I want to go back really quickly. So like I said, this is very easy. Sometimes you might want to just get these files and perform this action very quickly so that you get a concrete file that's easier to manipulate, edit, move around, and all these things, because you might have done some really, really intricate edits. And bounce selection is perfect for this. Now, the next thing that we have in Cubase is the freeze. That was, again, something that was introduced quite a few years ago, and maybe 10 years ago, I can't remember, but basically it was a life changer back then because CPUs were not fast enough, and if you have like a very intensive VST instrument, for example, here I have my Apollo pad, okay, and my computer can handle this just fine. But let's say I had a very slow computer, it's very easy to just go here for this instrument and go right here. As you can see, here you have the freeze channel button. In case you don't have this, for example, as you can see here on my audio channel, I don't have a freeze button. You can go here in your cogwheel, and if I go to my audio channels, okay, maybe I want to add the freeze to my visible controls. So I can add it there, and you will see that now it will appear. It's right here. So if you don't have the freeze button, don't worry. It's very easy to set it up. If you want to set it up for your instrument channels, it's exactly the same way. And actually you can see quite a few things that you can unhide if you go into this track control settings window. Very, very useful, and many people miss that. So that's a little tip. Now, if I want, for example, to freeze this Apollo pad, I can just go here and click on this freeze channel, And now I can choose to freeze just the instrument or also the effects. So let's say I have some reverb or some effects in this channel, this will freeze the effects as well. And I can also have some tail in case I have some nice reverb tails or delay tails. And then I can choose to unload the instrument when frozen. Now I always tend to just freeze the instrument and unload the instrument when frozen in order to save some RAM. Now this function, compared to bouncing plates, is specifically created so that you save CPU resources and RAM resources. So basically it's just a way of saying, okay, I'm happy with this right now, click OK, and now I can just freeze this channel. And
here I am in design, and the first thing you'll notice is this clean, user-friendly interface. Now watch closely. I'm clicking Create Project and selecting Word. This is where the magic happens. All I need to do is type in the topic. Let's call it social media marketing tips for small businesses. Hit enter and boom. In seconds, Designer has crafted a complete ebook outline. But we're not stopping there. Look at this. Fully fleshed out chapters and subtitles. If you want to tweak anything, just click and edit. It's that simple. Now watch this. I'm clicking this button here, and just like that, we have an ebook. But Designer isn't just about speed. It's about quality and customization too. Let's choose them. There are hundreds to pick from, all professionally designed. I like this one for our marketing. See how Designer instantly formats the content? Headers, body, text, even placeholder images. All perfectly laid out. Want to change something? No problem. Swap out images quickly. Adjust layouts on the fly. You can add your own brand. When you're happy with your ebook, just hit publish. PDF, flipbook, even Kindle format. Designer does it all. And there you have it. A professional, engaging ebook created from scratch in 2 minutes. Now I can sell this, use it as a lead magnet, whatever I want. Thanks to Designer. With over 350,000 customers in 70 plus countries and countless 5-star reviews, Designer is trusted and customers worldwide. So what are you waiting for? Click this ad now to start your free trial.
And now this channel will still play, let's solo it. But you will see that it has this lock icon right here, okay, this padlock. That means that I cannot move anything, I cannot do anything to this, I cannot edit the MIDI, there's nothing I can do. Now this is frozen, I don't have any control over this. And what I tend to do with cases like this is I temporarily freeze the channel so that I can conserve some resources, especially when I'm working with really massive orchestral libraries and they are very RAM intensive. So I just freeze them temporarily, and then when I want to go back and edit them again, I just unfreeze them like this. Because all these freeze files are just audio files that you store in the background. You can find them inside your project. I'm just going to unfreeze now, and now I'm back to normal. Now this I can edit again, I can edit the MIDI, and if I want to, I can refreeze again. So freeze, in a nutshell, is created just to conserve RAM and CPU. I think this is the best way to describe it. I don't think it's flexible for anything else, and I find myself using it less and less because now we have also render in place, which is the next thing that I'm going to show you. And render in place, in my opinion, is just amazing and magical. It allows you to do whatever you want very, very easily. Render in place can do many, many things. It has many applications, but let me show you a few of them, okay? Let's say, for example, that I'm very happy with this Apollo pad part, and I want to commit to it in audio. In the old days, you used to have to go to File, Export, Audio Mix Down, select the channel, re-import it, or in later versions, you could import it as well. But nowadays, you have render in place. So let me show you how this works. I'm going to select this event. So you have to select the event for render in place to work. And now I can go to Edit, Render in Place, and I'm going to go to render settings, okay? So here's what happens. This is the dialog that we get when we select to render this selection. Now, there are a few things that you can do. We can render dry. That means that in the audio file that we're going to get, we won't have the insert effects that we have applied to this channel. But the clever thing is that if we have applied some insert effects, these will be inserted into the audio channel that's going to be created, which is really, really cool. The next thing that we have is render the channel settings. That means that any effect that we have, any insert effects that we have in the channel, they're going to be rendered as well. Then we can render the complete signal path. That means that this is going to render also the group channel effects. So if, for example, the Apollo pad goes to a bus that has some EQ, this will also be rendered. If it goes to an effects channel that has a chorus or a delay, this is also going to be rendered. So it's very, very flexible. And this is a hugely powerful tool that we have in Cubase. Many other DAWs don't even come close to this. So this is a boom moment. Render in place is amazing. Then we have the complete signal path and master effects. This means that we're also going to get the complete signal path, including the master bus. Okay, so if we have some mastering plugins there, these are going to be bounced as well. Then we have some more properties like the tail mode. So you might want to have like some tail for reverbs to tail off. You can determine your tail size, the bit depth of your file. You can use a custom name if you want to. For example, maybe Apollo pad. Otherwise, it's going to use the exact same names like with your events. And you can even choose a file location. So it's very easy to grab different events in your project and just render them into a specific folder in your hard drive. Now there are quite a few options here. You can save every single event as a separate file. You can have them as block events, especially if they're adjacent events, and you can have the file being one single event. So depending on what you're trying to do, I choose to go block events or separate events most of the time. So let's select these. I'm going to use my shortcut Shift W, which is render selection, and I'm going to go for drive in this case. And I can also mute the source events. Let's do this and let's see what happens. And boom! As you can see, now I have my Apollo pad right here. The original MIDI parts are muted, but they're still there. If I want to unmute them, I can still unmute them very, very easily. My shortcut for mute and unmute is V. And if you want to unmute them, you can go here and just mute them like this, very, very easily. But now, if you pay attention, if I hit the E button, you will see that I have my channel settings like the volume, the EQ, the filters, the insert effects are already there. So now I can still keep going with this track. I can start mixing it. I can start adding effects. But now it doesn't consume any CPU. But if we want to completely free our resources, what I tend to do is very, very simple. I go to my original one, and then what I do is I right click and disable the track, okay? Now this track doesn't consume any CPU or any RAM because it's disabled. And what I like to do after I do this, I tend to also hide it and it's gone. Now if I want to bring it back, I can go back to visibility, bring it back and enable it. I actually have an entire macro to this because I do this thing all the time instead of freezing. I always go and when I'm almost happy with what I have, I just render it in place, especially when I know that I'm not going to change the notes. I render it in place and then I keep mixing committed to audio. And then I still keep my MIDI, I disable the channel and then I hide it so it's not in the way, right? So this is very, very neat, very clean. Now another reason why you might want to use the render in place function is when you want to save some CPU cycles when you have loads of processing in a specific track. A very good example is vocals. You might have like EQs, compressors, de-essers, you might have like some tuning plugins, you might have reverbs, you might have delays, and it's very easy actually to go and say, okay, you know, I have this vocal here, it has all these effects. Instead of having trouble with all these plugins eating up all your CPU, what you can do is you can say, okay, I'm going to select my channel here, and I'm going to render including the channel settings, sometimes maybe the entire signal path. And when you do this, basically Cubase renders everything for you, and all the plugins, the EQs, the compressors, the effects are printed into the resulting audio file, which means that this is printed. I always tend to do this when I'm using, for example, analog gear, like my EQs or my analog compressors or my my black box or my SSL compressors because I want to use them in more than one channel. And the best way to do this is rendering in place. Of course, when you have analog gear, the only difference is that you have to render in real time. Really not a big problem, especially when you want to use and reuse this lovely piece of analog gear that you might own. But even when you're using plugins, as you can see, now I have my channel here, this is my vocal, and you can see that it has 0 effects on it. So now this eats up no resources due to plugins. If I go here now, of course, what I need to do, because this is still alive and these effects are also working, what I need to do is again, disable and hide this channel, and I'm gonna use my shortcut here, and it's gone. I use this thing all the time. I can just bring this channel back and I can just enable it and unmute it. Simple as that. And you see the point. I use rendering plays many times for sound design. So I might have a boom and I have a hit and I want to have loads of reverb. Maybe I'm going to add the reverb momentarily to my channel, and then I just render in place just this section, and I have a new audio file that has just this portion of the audio that I want to maybe process it with a different effects chain. So render in place, in my opinion, is probably the most versatile way to do sound design, to save up resources, RAM and CPU, and to also be very flexible when you want to create some really complex processing. And when you're using analog gear, for analog gear, it's a godsend. You know, you can't do anything without rendering place. It would take ages if you had to export, re-import, export, and re-import. This all happens automatically. You don't have to do any of the hard work. Cubase does everything for you. And I found that I'm using my analog gear more and more after rendering place was introduced in Cubase. So I'm very, very happy about this. So I hope this video demystifies the 3 different ways to bounce your audio. So bounce selection, freeze, and rendering place. In my opinion, rendering place is one of the killer features in Cubase. And if you're not using it, you should. So in the comments down below, let me know, did you know about all these methods? And how do you use them? Because I'd really like to know, maybe there's something about bounce selection that I haven't thought about. Let me know in the comments down below. Let's keep spreading the knowledge. Let's spread the Cubase love. If you enjoyed this video and if it helped you, you know what to do. And also share it if you know any Cubase user that will find it useful. Don't forget to find me on Instagram and all the other social media. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next one, my friends. Bye!
We've all been there. 20 website structures can sometimes feel like solving a puzzle. Instead of using a million different tools, simply brief AI with the details. You'll get a clear structured site now in seconds. And you're ready to export and share it with your client. Now go design something and still love tomorrow.
Hello my friends, this is the video that many of you have been waiting for 2 reasons. In this video, I'm going to show you 5 top secret Cubase power tips that I know the vast majority of users have no idea about, and they're always blown away when I show them. But in this video, I have also a huge announcement to make, as today my friends, the wait is finally over. Today, I'm announcing the release of my brand new Cubase Masterclass, something that you guys have been asking me for years and years. It's finally here, so stick around because for all of my subscribers, there's going to be something that you don't want to miss. More on this later. Now let's jump straight away into the first Cubase mega feature that you're probably missing out. The first secret power tip is the tape machine style auto monitoring. And for this, I'm going to use a guitar to show you. Let's say you want to record an instrument, a guitar in this case, and you want to run this through an amp simulation plugin or something like this. For example, in this case, I have this guitar here, and I'm going to enable monitoring, and I can run it through this amplitude amp simulation. Now, you might know that if you want to play back something that you played and listen to it through the effects, you have to turn off monitoring. And now we can hear the recording audio. you want to listen to what you played, again, you have to turn off monitoring and then play back so that you can actually listen to what you just recorded. There's a better way, and this will work great if you're trying to record guitars, if you're trying to record vocals with effects, if you're trying to record synths with effects. Let me show you how you do it. All you need to do is go to settings, and then you need to go to VST, and you need to find this auto monitoring entry in the settings. Now, as you can see here, we have manual, and this is the default. This is what Cubase always chooses for you. But if you click on this, you will see that you have while record enabled, which means that when you have record enabled a channel, monitoring is also going to work. But this won't really solve the problem. Then you have while record running, which is great. Let me show you this. So now if I play, but if I hit record, immediately monitoring turns itself on and I can immediately listen to my guitar with the effects. But again, this is not perfect. What you want to do is you want to select tape machine style. And when you do this, what's going to happen is that when you're in stop mode, you can start practicing. If you want to play what you just recorded though, you just hit play and monitoring turns off. Again, stop. I can listen to my guitar from the effects. If I hit record, when I hit stop, so monitoring turns itself on and off automatically as if it knows what I want to do. Now this is extremely useful if you want to utilize also the punch in and punch out points like this, which is incredible because now what I can do is I can start the playback, I can listen to the previous guitar tape, and then when I'm in punch in mode, monitoring will turn itself on and I'm going to start recording as well. Check it out.
But you're going to be really blown away by this. You press this. Let's see what it is. So much faster and incorporate new AI technologies, you can stay ahead of the curve when it comes to all the other music producers out there competing for your plays, and hundreds of producers are secretly getting their hands on it. And if you've seen some of those haters online calling using AI cheating, they said the same thing about using consoles to produce instead of laptops. But don't be a part of that group. Be a part of the group that's incredibly dominant, that's on new technology and uses it to gain an unfair competitive advantage, most importantly, just to make the best music.
It's not going to replace you as a creator or as a musician or to make you lazy or anything like that. Innocent MIDI wizard is a tool that any musician can benefit from in their studios.
I think it actually impressed me with a lot of fun to use.
So if you want to check out these music videos, the link will be in the description.
The link will be in the description, so be sure to check it out.
To get the full details, click the one below. Run this special limited time watch here. If you're seeing this ad, you still can't get it, but in a few hours from tomorrow, the price will have already jumped way up. So don't procrastinate. Click the button. Check out all the details. Check out the demo and the full walkthrough. I'll see you inside.
So this is great because I also also had a reference of what was being played before with the effects, and when I was ready to punch in, immediately monitoring came on and I could listen to my guitar with the effects. And speaking of punch in and punch out, I'll touch about all of these things in my Cubase masterclass. Huge time saver, is going to help you and it's going to help any talent that you have in the studio, I promise. Power tip number 2 is shuffle mode. And I'm going to show this to you today because I've never seen a Cubase user in my life, I can say this with ease, that uses shuffle mode. If you're out there, well done. Let us know in the comments down below how you use shuffle mode, but I'm going to show you how cool shuffle mode is and how many things it allows you to do. In order to activate shuffle mode, you need to go here where we have our snap types, and then you need to select shuffle. Now, when you do this, here's what happens in Cubase. Let's say I want to move this kick drum here, and I want to move it right here. You will see that Cubase is going to shuffle these events. So this event goes before this event, and this goes after. And you do it again, and you will see that Cubase won't overlap, it won't create gaps, it will just shuffle the events. So that means that, for example, if I have a loop like this here, I can rearrange the loop and be very creative with the loop. So if you go here and you start moving things around like this, so these are things that you can do that you would normally not do when you edit a loop. You can create amazing variations of the same loop, and of course this can be also vocals, vocal chops, all of these things. What I like to do, for example, and this is what I do with this loop, is I like to open an audio event in the sample editor, and then I like to go to hit points, I like to set my threshold, and then I like to hit create slices. And now you will see that I've just created slices for my guitar part here that we just recorded previously. And of course, shameless plug again, I talk about all these things, hit point slicing, in my Cubase masterclass. So now by using shuffle mode, I can rearrange this guitar part very, very easily. But it doesn't stop there. Shuffle mode is the mode that I've been using almost exclusively when I used to work in post-production, when I was cutting voiceovers for ads, for radio ads, for TV ads. And let me show you why it's so powerful and so useful. It will speed up your workflow by 200%. If you're editing voiceovers and you want to make them tight. For example, let's say I have this voiceover right here. And I know it's 3 takes, so I want to keep the last take. First of all, what I can do is I can immediately start trimming my audio file like this, and check what happens. Boom! Now, because I have shuffle activated, Cubase snaps everything where it was. So something that would be multiple clicks, like for example, if I went to grid, I would have to go and do this, and then I would have to find where I was and move this right there. No, you don't need to do all this. Just go and select shuffle mode, and now all you need to do is trim, and everything will slip where it should be. And of course, it doesn't stop there. Now, if I want to edit this voiceover to make it super tight, because TV and radio time is very expensive, most production houses want super tight voiceovers. Check how shuffle mode can help you with this. So I'm going to again trim, and as you can see, everything snaps. If I want to get rid of this silence right here, again, I click, it snaps. If I want to get rid of this silence here, hit delete, it snaps. Again, boom, again, boom, boom. Got this breath right here. Nobody wants breaths in TV ads. Boom. Let's go right here. Boom. Let's go here. Cut the last bits. And I just edited this voiceover like the wind. Again, maybe I want to go here. See, I cut it. No gaps, no nothing. Look, listen. Crafted with passion and expertise, each one of our duo represents a balanced blend of heritage and food. So I will get rid of this breath here as well. Boom. If I want to close this a little bit more. Boom. See, of heritage and forward-thinking design. Meticulously handmade, very precise our goals and rigorous inspection process to be so fast, so quick. I can honestly tell you that the fact that I knew about this trick in Cubase landed me many jobs in post-production studios back in the day. Now, before we move on to the third mega feature, let me talk to you about something that so many of you have been relentlessly asking me for over the years. Today, I'm incredibly excited to announce that my Cubase Masterclass is finally This isn't just another Cubase course. Inside my masterclass, you'll find over 17 hours of in-depth tutorials designed to take you from the basics all the way to mastering Cubase like a pro. What makes this masterclass different is that I don't show you just features, I show you why these tools actually matter when you're working on real-world scenarios. My goal is to turn you into a Cubase ninja so that you don't even have to think about the software anymore. You'll know it inside out and finally be able to focus 100% on what matters most, the music. I skip nothing. I'm covering everything from the basics like how to set up your audio interface the right way, and when it comes to advanced topics, this masterclass goes all in. Advanced audio editing techniques, deep meaty features that will change your life, whether you're producing electronic music, scoring for film, and everything in between. How to set up Cubase for film composing with efficient workflows and tips. How to use external syncs like plugins, how to connect and route outboard gear, and I'll show you how to take your productions to the next level using Cubase's powerful creative tools, even with the latest and greatest Cubase 14 like the new modulators, drum machine, pattern sequencer, sample track, and the pro packs. Here's the best part. This masterclass is not going to be static. Every time a new version of Cubase comes out, there's a new killer feature. I'll be updating the course so you're always one step ahead. And finally, I've got a limited time early bird discount for all of you. My subscribers, use this code at checkout to get the full masterclass at an early bird special price. If you follow me for a while, you know I never do discounts throughout the year, so if you're thinking of joining, this is the time. Thank you so much in advance to every single one of you that decides to enroll. I really hope you enjoy it. I'm incredibly proud of this masterclass. Now, let's get back to the next mega Cubase tip. So the next power tip that I want to share with you in this video are the zoom shortcuts. And again, this separates somebody that knows how to use Cubase to somebody that's a pro in Cubase. Somebody that's going to go to a professional studio and work as a producer, as an engineer, and the people that own the studio are going to have their jaws drop and they will want you to work with them. So let me show you, this is extremely powerful with Cubase. So let's say I'm here and I actually want to see the entire length of my project. So here's shortcut number one. Press Shift and F and you will see that now Cubase zooms out so that we can see the entire length of our project. Let's move this event right here. If again I press Shift F, you will see that now Cubase immediately zooms at a factor where we can see everything. Equally important is this one. Let's say I want to focus on this kick drum hit. What I can do is I can select it and press Option or Alt if you're on PC and S. And when you do this, boom, now Cubase focuses on this specific event. Let's go back. And see how easy it was to go back to the previous zoom state. That wasn't done in editing. That was actually because I used a shortcut. But before I show you, let me select another portion of the audio. Let's go here and I'm going to select it with my range tool. Again, Alt S, boom. Let's move closer. Let's go here. Alt S, boom. And you will see I can zoom in more and more depending on my selection. Now, if I want to go back to the previous zoom state, here's the power tip. Option Z. And check this out. I can undo my zoom states. Isn't that amazing? Again, let's select this one. Alt S, boom. Alt Z, boom. I can undo my zoom states in Cubase. If I keep doing this, you will see that I will go back to all the states that we learned before. It's a full zoom history. Let me show you where these things exist in the menu. If I go Edit and I go to Zoom, what you're looking for is Zoom to Selection, Option S, and then we also have the Undo Zoom, which is Option Z, and Redo Zoom, which in my case is Option Shift Z. And again, this is incredibly useful because I can switch from one zoom state to the other super easy. Let me show you. Alt S, boom, zoom, and then Option Z, boom. Option Shift Z, boom. See how quickly I can move from a fully zoomed waveform to a zoomed out portion of my channel. I told you we're talking about power tips here, and that's what I delivered. This is gold, and when you add it to your workload, you will be working like a professional. Top secret Cubase power tip number 4 is syncing your external synths. When I'm talking about external synths, it could be anything. It could be a boombox, drum machine, a synthesizer like, for example, my Sub 37, my OB6, the montage. You can actually make all these synths follow the tempo of Cubase at any given time. Again, I'm going in depth on how to set up your synths with Cubase in my Cubase masterclass. But what I've done here is I've set up my Sub 37. As you can see, the output of this MIDI track is going to my Sub 37. Now, when I play this MIDI part, is going to trigger an arpeggiator on the Sub 37 that is actually going to follow the tempo of my Cubase tempo track, which, as you see right here, it goes faster and faster. Let's have a listen. So how do you actually do this? I see so many people that have synths and they don't know how to sync them up with Cubase. Let me show you how you do it because it's very simple. All you need to do is go to Transport, go to Project Synchronization Setup, and over here you want to go to Destinations. And right here you will see all the MIDI ports that you have installed on your system. I have tons of them, so you don't need to worry because I also have a MIDI router. Now if I scroll, what I need to do is find my synth. And in this case, I have my Node Sub 37. All you need to do is just stick this, and then Cubase is going to send its clock to the synth. And of course, you also have several preferences right here that you can use. But in a nutshell, this is all you need to do. And the great thing is, it's not just arpeggiators that are going to follow the tempo, but if your synth allows it, it will also sync the LFOs, for example. Let me show you. So I have my Sub 37 here.
Step into Next Studio, the platform for agencies and enterprises. Kick off projects in a workspace that's designed for your workflow. Work seamlessly and experiment freely. And design complex layouts with intuition and precision to that very last pixel. Structure and populate dynamic content fluidly and manage rich content with elegance and efficiency. Accelerate responsive design with AI, optimized for every screen. Create and customize interactions from subtle movements to advanced behaviors. And see your vision through, from draft to client handover. This is web creation at scale. Flexible, fast, limitless. This is most of it.
I started Tai Chi at 50. Now I'm 68, and doctors ask me for advice.
3 reasons to start Tai Chi workout this summer. In 1 week, you'll see your energy. In 2 weeks, you'll feel your breath. In 3 weeks, you'll have energy, and your wife won't believe your results. Here is the personalized plan of short Tai Chi workouts tailored for beginners over 50. It takes just 7 minutes per day. Beginner friendly and requires no equipment. You can work out anytime, anywhere. Just open the app and follow along.
And I have this LFO. Now, because I've set this to sync, now Cubase is going to send its clock, and this LFO is going to follow the tempo of Cubase. And check out the speed of the LFO waveform. Let's check it out. And so cool, isn't it? And power mega tip number 5 is using the Humble MIDI Echo plugin. As you can see, I have it here, and this is a plugin that can help you with so much like drum programming, effects, or even when you want to program synth ostinatos. So let me show you, for example. As you can see, I have Iconica Sketch loaded here. And let's say I want to play something like a Vivaldi kind of ostinato. So something like this, right? So first of all, this is extremely hard to play on the keyboard, whereas strings can actually do this very quickly. On the keyboard, you really have to be a very good player to play something like this. Enter the MIDI Echo plugin. I'm going to turn it on here, and you will see it does this at first. So it gives us some repeats, in this case 5 repeats, but it also goes down in pitch. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to link those two, and then I'm going to keep the offset at 0 from the pitch. I'm going to set my velocity offset to -1, and now it does this. So see, I'm playing one note, but it plays the repeat a little bit quieter. Now I can play Vivaldi or string ostinatos super easily. Check it out. So good. And this is just by using the humble MIDI Echo plugin that I've never seen anyone use so many years working in studios. So there you go, my friends. These were the 5 top secret Cubase power tips that now you know. Let me know if you wanted to make a part 2 of this video, and of course if you want to learn Cubase once and for all, and you want to learn all the tips that I can possibly give you, go and check out my Cubase masterclass. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.
So from here, we get a few S's. So we're gonna go with the auto tune vocal ES. We're gonna play it, and we're gonna hit the assistant to tell it what the sentence is. Alright, so it's a lot of S's right in the beginning. They already gave you the settings. Let's hear it. That's tight, man. That's actually pretty dope. I ain't gonna lie.
Hello. Communicate English easily. Use Grammarly and feel confident with effective communication. Grammarly's instant corrections make your writing high quality and mistake-free, so you can focus on saying what you need. Grammarly ensures you communicate clearly, fluency suggestions tailored specifically for you. See why 98% of multilingual speakers using Grammarly report that it helps them write in English fluently. You can also accelerate your productivity by using Grammarly to quickly compose and reply in your own voice. English writing made easy. Download for free at Grammarly.com.
Hello everyone, Tom here, and today the reason why my t-shirt is changing color is because after a long wait, Cubase 13 has dropped, and I'm going to show you everything that's new. Let's check it out. As you might expect, I'm extremely excited today to make this video and share with you what's new in the brand new Cubase version, Cubase 13. I want to say straight away that in this video, I'm going to show you as many new things that exist in Cubase 13 as possible, but because I don't want to make this video 2 hours long, I'm going to go quickly through them. I'm going to show you what you can expect from this new update, and then I'm going to make dedicated videos for each feature, so make sure you subscribe, hit that bell notification icon, otherwise you will not know if I upload those videos, okay? So let's not waste any time, let's dive into the new features. Number 1 is the new mix console. The mix console in Cubase 13 has been redesigned, and you will see it straight away. You will notice it straight away when you open it. It looks more sharp, it looks more modern, it looks more fresh. In my opinion, this was something that was needed, and I'm very glad that we have a new look in the mixed console, but the new design is not the only thing that you will find in the mixed console. In my opinion, I've made a video about this in the past. The Cubase mixer has the best ergonomics when it comes to serious mixing. I'm not talking about gimmicky mixing, I'm talking about serious mixing that serious mixing engineers will appreciate. Now, this has become even better, and I'm going to show you very quickly what's new and what you can expect. To begin with, like I said, everything is a little bit more unified, everything looks a little bit more clean, but here are some things that make a big difference in my opinion. First of all, you will see that we have the channel name in the bottom of the channel, but also at the top right here. So this is very useful, especially if you're trying to tweak the EQs, you're trying to tweak your pre-gain and all these things. It's way more easy to have your channel name right there. This is ergonomics, right? It seems like a small thing, but to me, it's very important. The second thing is if you're using the channel strip, now you can see the channel strip right here. So let's say I want to use a compressor to this vocal, I can go and select my cheap compressor, and you will see that now, when I open my cheap compressor, I can see the interface like this. It pops up, and when I'm done with it, it just disappears. So I don't have to keep opening these modules one by one and taking real estate on my mixed console. I think this is a very, very cool redesign, especially if you're using the channel strip, and you should be using the channel strip. I have a video about the channel strip if you don't know what it does. The other big improvement, in my opinion, is that now this EQ hue, check it out. Not only it has all the bands and you can do your EQ very quickly, but you also have the filters now that was missing in the previous mix console, and I could never understand why. Now it's here, and we also have the pre-gain, and we also have the phase reversal. And see what happened? Once I move my mouse away, it disappears.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems, everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
Which is, again, ergonomics. This will allow me to work really, really fast when I'm mixing, because EQing is one of the things that you do on almost every channel. And when you can do this, fly between different channels, you do your pre-gain, your automation, everything is going to be super easy. The other thing that you will see is that if you watch a video about the 20 reasons why the Cubase mixer is the best, I show you some tricks there. Now, the setup of the mixer is way more simplified. So if you go here to this code wheel, you will see that everything that comprises the modularity of the Cubase mixer is right there, and you can start modifying it exactly how you want. So you don't have to open several places to find all these little things. And last but not least, you can customize the mixer even more now. So you will see I have this configuration: routing, grid, section, insert, strip, EQ, and sense. If I want to change the order of these modules, I can right click and I can set up the sections. And now let's say if I want my pre-gain to be first, I can just move it, drag and drop, and I can rearrange the mixer exactly how I want, and see it updates in real time. Now the second thing I want to show you is something that I know that many people are going to have a party when they see that this is available in Cubase, and this is that you can now turn any mono channel to stereo or stereo to mono in one click. So let's take this backing vocal, for example. As you can see, it's a mono channel. Now if I want to turn this to stereo, the only thing I need to do is click on this icon and I can turn this to stereo. If I want to go back to mono, click again and I'm back to mono. It's that easy. I know that many people have been waiting for this, and it's here, and I couldn't be happier. Sip of coffee. A lot of stuff to show you. The next thing that I want to show you is something that has been in my wish list for ages when it comes to Keybase, and I was extremely pumped when I saw that it's now included. And this is the range selection tool. It is now available in the key editor and the drum editors. So let me show you how it works. If you don't know about the range tool, you really should know about it. It's one of the most powerful tools in Keybase, in my opinion. So as you can see, I have this sync part right here. It has MIDI notes, it has several controllers. There's a lot of stuff going on. So before, if I wanted to copy any section, okay, let's say I wanted to copy all these notes, I had to just select all of them. Hope that I haven't forgotten anything that's down here or up there, and then I would want to copy all the controllers and all these things. Now what I can do, I'm so happy about this, I can grab the range tool, see that? And now I can select my notes, hit Command D, duplicate, just like that, and all the notes are selected and they're copied across. Or if I want to, I can select all the controllers as well. And now again, I can hit duplicate, and as you can see, it has copied the notes with the controller data as well. Especially for film composers that you have to deal with a lot of CC1, CC11 messages, many different controllers. This is going to be a lifesaver. Let's say that I played something else here and I haven't copied the controllers. Now I can copy the controllers in a very easy way. So I can select all of my controllers. Let's select this, hold Shift, and Command D, and now I can copy my controllers, or I can move them. I think I'm going to make a dedicated video about this because this new feature is a big deal for me, and I've always been very vocal about the fact that we need this feature in the key and drum editors, and now it's here. The other big thing that producers and film composers will definitely appreciate is the fact that now we have a multi-part editor in the key editor. So let me show you very quickly. I'm going to go to my synth part right here, and I'm going to open it in full view. And as you can see, okay, I have my synth right here. But what if I want to have a full overview of my MIDI parts so I can edit them and I can see them in relation to each other? You could do this before, but it was quite difficult to get to the right part. Now what I can do is I can go here, and as you can see, we have this part editor, and if you want to bring it up, you just click on this icon, and now I can bring up everything that's in my arrangement. See, like this, and I can select anything that I want and start editing. So for example, if I go here, you will see that now I have the airy part right here. And if I go to this part, you will see that it gets selected, it gets in focus right here, and now or if I go here to my kick drum, again, focus, and I can play it. And I can select any configuration that I want. This is so fast, I don't think I will ever use a single channel mode anymore because it's so easy to go back to my kick drum right here, then move on to this one, and now I have my keys right here. And especially with big productions or big arrangements, this thing is going to be invaluable. Again, I might make a video to show you exactly how it works, because like I said, this video is going to be 2 or 3 hours long if I show you in detail all these new cool features. Let's move on to the next one. The next thing I want to show you is big. It's a big deal. It's a new plugin called Vocal Chain. And this plugin was designed so that you can put it on a vocal channel and you have everything you need in one place. I wouldn't be exaggerating, and this is my own personal opinion, if I said that if you use this plugin, it's going to be really hard to feel like you need another plugin for a vocal. If you watched any of my videos where I show you how to process vocals, I've done 2 of them up to this point, I think, and I'm using several plugins, you will see that quite a few of the tricks that I'm using on these videos are here in this plugin. It might be a coincidence, it might be that I had a little bit of influence when it comes to this plugin.
Step into Wix Studio and handle every part of your build from one platform. Map out your project with an AI-powered visual signal that generates site structures and wireframes in seconds, not days. When your client's on board, dive into design. Create freely, customizing even the smallest element. Use site styles to seamlessly extend the brand to every page, and watch it adapt across breakpoints. Now, more functionality, you're ready to take them further. Plan faster, design freer, scale smarter. This is Wix Studio.
It blows my mind. You could literally start your own business right now with Shopify. It's incredible. With Shopify, it's easier than ever to do it in a professional way, where it actually looks legit. Start your free trial at shopify.com. Cheers.
But one thing is for sure, you can find quite a few of my presets in this plugin straight out of the box. So I hope you enjoy them. Now, let me show you what's going on here. As you can see, this is a plugin that's comprised of several modules. So as you can see, we have an overview right here, and you can have instant access to all the different modules. And let's see what else is there. So we have a clean section. This is the part, again, like I showed you on the videos that I've done for vocals, where you clean the vocal, you take care of any problems before you move on to the next section, which is the character. So in the clean section, we have a cut filter, we have a gate, we have pitch correction, and I'm going to show you some quick examples about this. We have a DSO module, we have a dynamic filter. Again, if you watch my videos, you will see I use all these things. It's exactly the way that I use them. Then we have a compressor, and you will see that when it comes to the compressor, we have 4 different types of compression. So we have the box pump, transparent compressor, extreme, and black valve. Again, more about this later on. And the compressor can also be in parallel if I want to. We have the first EQ right here, and again, now not only we have the studio EQ, but we also have the P1A, more about this later, and the AM5 EQ, again, more about this later. Then we move on to the character section, and we have an exciter, a saturator, compressor, a second dynamic filter, a second EQ, and a second de-esser. And all these modules can be repositioned as well. The only thing you need to do is drag and drop. The next thing that we have is the send section. And here's where you can find an imager if you want to make a vocal super wide. Again, I've made videos about all these things. So all these techniques that I've shown you over the years are right here in one plugin. And then we have a delay. Again, the delay, it has a Docker, and you can set the delay to the reverb, for example, as you can see here. And the reverb also has a Docker, and you can also send it to the delay. So everything's there. Everything is right there. I'm going to make a dedicated video about this where I dive deep into vocal chain. So again, make sure you're subscribed. Let's listen to this vocal, and let's see how we can make it sound with just one plugin, just vocal chain. You can delay and everything. Let's do some crazy stuff with a pitch. Make it wider. I will stop at nothing, I got nothing left to lose. Saint Osula, have I gone too far? Had the repercussions in the backseat of my car. Hate me, nothing more to prove. I will stop at nothing, I got nothing left to lose. The next thing I want to show you is the new sample track, and I want to show you very quickly some cool things that you can do. I have a sample here, let's listen to it. This is one of the new samples that are included in Cubase 13. So what I've done is I've dropped it into a sample track, and now I can play it on my keyboard, of course. Let's listen. How am I doing this? Now, this is possible because the new sample track has the shaper envelopes that you can use for the filter envelopes, for the pitch envelope, and for the amp envelope. And as you can see, this is what I've done with the filter. And here's what I've done with the pitch. So this is the new shaper envelope, and if you're familiar with Halion, you will be right at home. You will know exactly what this is and how to use it. But basically, what it allows you to do is you can create your own custom envelopes. The way it works is you grab your paint select one of these waveforms, or you can create your own user waveforms, and then you select a value from here. Let's say go 64 notes for example, and then you can start painting like this. Again, like I said, if you're familiar with Halium, you will know all about this because this was introduced in Halium 7, and the concept is exactly the same. Now, the second thing that you can do with the sound track is that now we have new audio work modes. So before we have the music and solo, now we also have spectral modes. So spectral HD, which is higher quality, and spectral vocal, which is tailored for vocal. And what these modes will allow you to do is have a better sound quality when it comes to stretching material, especially percussive material or vocals, and when you want to pitch up and down. For the next thing that I want to show you, I need a microphone, and this is because in Cubase 13 we have a new vocoder plugin. So let's listen to it. So as you can see, I can even add vibrato to the vocoder sound. You can change the bands or the filter. You can change the sound of the vocoder. You can apply it. It's and of course, video on how to use it coming up. The next one is Foxconn, and I want to talk about this compressor in a separate video, but basically this compressor is designed for vocals. You have a vocal, it doesn't sit well in the mix, you want to reach out for a compressor to make it sit nicely in the mix. This is the compressor that you want to reach out for. So let me show you on this vocal. It's extremely simple to use. It's literally one control. So let's play. This arrangement because it has this big 808 and it's very dense, and this is where it's a bit of a struggle to make vocals sit well in the mix. The second compressor is the Black Valve, and this is completely different. This, I think, emulates the LA610 compressor and preamp. Let me show you how it works. Basically, this is a little bit different in the way that it operates. So again, I'm going to have a video, but what you can do is you can drive the input stage with the preamp, and then you can start compressing, and this gives you a warm, very colorful compression style. Let's have a listen. First, I'm going to drive this vocal. So as you can hear, it's very colorful. Like I said, if you're interested, let me know. I'm going to make a video on how to use it and how to make the best out of it. A new addition in Cubase 13, and something that I wanted really badly, is the inclusion of new EQs. And these are colorful EQs. These are not the clean EQs that we had in Cubase up to this point, so the frequency, the studio EQ. This is the EQ P1A, and it's very clear that it emulates a Protec EQ. And the second one is, again, the M5, and this emulates this very famous mid-range King EQ. So these are going to be great for vocals, for acoustic guitars, or your master bass, kick drums, bass, and tweaking your mid-range. And I'm glad that now we have some colorful, vibey EQs in Cubase. And I don't know if you've noticed this up to this point, but the next thing that I want to show you is the new channel tab. And the new channel tab is this section right here. This is not to be confused with the inspector that still exists. It didn't go away, so don't worry. What the new channel tab does is it gives you instant access to your mix without having to do what I've been doing all the time. The first thing, I would just have my reflex on the E button on my keyboard, the E key, because I could bring up the channel settings. I was doing this all the time, maybe hundreds of times a day, or I would just open the mixer. Now I can have all the stuff that I need when it comes to mixing while I'm still arranging, like in this scenario, for example. Everything is right here. So I have my routing there, I have my pre-gain, I have my inserts, I have my sends, I have my strip, I have my EQ, and again, the EQ curve, I can open it, I can do whatever I want, I can do my filtering, and then once I move my mouse, boom, it disappears, which is amazing. And the same thing goes like with the mix console with the channel strip. If I activate, let's say, compressor, and I open it, we have a pop-up window now, and once I click away, boom, it disappears again. So for me, this is going to save me this thing that I've been doing all the time. Next is something really exciting. Now Cubase comes with a full orchestra straight out of the box. This is Icon Sketch. Again, I'm going to make a video so I can show you how it sounds because I don't have time in this video.
Big dreams start small. From getting your domain to creating your website, email, and online security, we've got you covered. You don't need to be a tech expert. You just need a starting point. Your brand starts here with GoDaddy.
And don't let the sketch name fool you. This is an orchestra that sounds way better than some orchestras that I've played out there. And the other great thing is that it's super light on the computer resources. So in terms of CPU, you can have a full orchestral arrangement playing and your CPU will be absolutely fine. It's a very CPU efficient orchestra. And it comes with brass, woodwinds, strings, everything. Let me know if you want a video on this. The next thing I want to show you is the new core pads. And again, there are many things that happen with the core pads that I won't have time to show you all of them in this video. But let me show you what I have here. I have here my love theme preset from my Apollo expansion for Pacho. By the way, have you checked my expansion for Pacho? Check the one it was done. This way you can support the channel if you enjoy. Now, the first thing that you will notice with the new core pads is that you have way more core pads than you can have. So let's play some of these. We have many new presets when it comes to the new core pads, and who knows, maybe some of them were created by someone that you know and you watched their video right now. Let me know if you can guess which ones of these presets I've designed. I've always seen the core pads as a really cool way that you can get yourself creating your own chord progressions, but not in a way like a MIDI pack would do where you have some chord progressions and you just drop them. As you can see, when I play any chord now, the colors change, which means the core pads give me ideas on where to go next. The more green, the more natural the transition. The more to the red, the more daring the chord progression will be. And now we can even have Roman numbers. This is really cool, especially if you're starting to learn music theory and music harmony. You can see that, okay, this is the first degree, and if I go here, this is the sixth. Again, very musical, and I really appreciate this because this really helps people that have no idea about music theory and music harmony to get their teeth in there. And I'm going to say one more thing about the chord pads and I'm going to move on because, like I said, there are many things going on here, is that you can change the key of the entire chord progression here. So if, for example, you don't want this to be in A flat major, but you want this to be in E flat major, you can do this. You can see the circle of fifths updates here, and this means that you have way more flexibility if you want to start the track on a different key, but you like the chord progressions. In Cubase 13, we also have new sound packs. So as you can see, we have Analog Wonder, we have Cinematic Electronic, we have Delicatessen, we have Midnight Dance, and we also have soulful R&B vocals. So a lot of stuff to play with. Another thing that was improved is the step input. Now you can actually go and set your cursor and immediately you can start inputting notes. And if you want to change note length on the fly, you can just use the arrow keys on the keyboard and extend the note. So it's very easy to start inputting notes in the key editor, even if you're not a key you want to add more nodes on top of this in an orthophonic fashion, you can use the new MIDI step input. So I'm selecting these nodes and I'm going to add 3 nodes on top of it, while retaining the length of the nodes. It's going to follow everything. And this allows for really fast arranging. There's a new tap tempo function now. It's right here. You can tap with your mouse or with your keyboard, and you can input a new tempo event wherever you have your cursor placed. Another new thing that was added is that we have simplified CC recording. So I'm going to hit record, and I'm going to record some CC1 events. So let's go like this. And you can see all these different points that get created. Now, when I hit stop, you will see that this gets simplified, and this is way more manageable. Now, if you want to activate this, all you need to do is go right here and select type of new controller events, set it to RAM. So if you want the previous behavior with all the million points, I don't see the point of this, no pun intended, you can still go back. But I think this is way more clean now. Other things that you can do, you can zoom horizontally or vertically using your mouse cursor on the Mac. So I'm holding Command here and I can zoom horizontally, and if I hold Command and Shift, I can zoom in.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made for anyone with an idea and a drive to bring it to life. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems, everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
Discover New York's smart city. Book top hotels and flights at cheap rates with Agoda. See the world for less. Book now.
If you're working with video, you're going to like this, especially if you're a film composer. Now the video track can have versions, and this is one of the things that happen all the time. You know, you get a new cut, you get a new version, new revision of a video, of a film, or of a commercial. Now we have different versions, so you can have multiple video files inside the same project, and you can switch between them very easily. If you started using Cubase and you're used to the workflow of another DAW, you're going to love the next one, because now, if you go to the transport bar, you will see there are different start modes, and many of these modes are similar to what you will find on other DAWs. For example, you can start from selection start. This is pretty much what Pro Tools does. See, so I'm selecting an event, and immediately my cursor starts playing from there. Or if I have my selection tool, I can play from the selection. This is pretty much like Pro Tools, right? The other thing that you can do is you can start from cycle start. This is a bit more like Logic, if I'm not mistaken. You can start from the cursor position, which is the default in Cubase, and you can also start from selection or cycle start. The other thing that especially Pro Tools users are very used to is the return to start position and stop. This was always an option in Cubase, but now it's easier to find because it's in the transport menu. Way more option now. Another improvement is the new key commands window. Now this is again more modern. It's way easier to find what you're looking for. For example, if you want to find a command, let's say group, you will see that I have everything that's related to the group. And if I want to see if I have a command assigned, I can go, let's say in my case, Alt-Shift-G, and you will see that immediately it finds that command assigned to its keystroke. And then you can also add your commands on the macros straight away in this window. Before you had to find the macro right here, and it was kind of cumbersome. Now it's way easier, and we can see our assigned commands, our customized commands, and our unassigned commands. This is way more simple. Another thing that's going to be a huge time saver for me, and it's one of those things that can get lost in such a plethora of new features, is that let's say you have a selection here, right? And I want to extend the selection to the next hit. Now what I can do is I can go edit, select, and then I can say enlarge range to the next hit point. when I do this, check what happens. It does exactly that. So it's very easy to make selections, and this way I can cut, I can create nice edits without having to, be very, very analytical here. I'm pretty sure many people are going to use this function, so I'm telling you, now you know. Another small thing is that now you can use a shortcut, add a marker, and rename that marker straight away. So if you see here on my key commands, we have a new key command called add and edit cycle marker on active track. And I have a shortcut there, it's Control and M. And now what I can do is I can go here, hit that shortcut, and you will see that immediately the cycle marker is created, and I can name this marker. Straight away, boom, right here. If you're working with markers, you're going to appreciate this. You can also rename events super fast. Now, if I click on this key prompt, for example, before, if I want to rename this event, I would have to go here, click, and then rename it. Now what I can do is I can hit a shortcut, and then I can say base, for example, for some reason. Or you can right-click and select rename selected events, and now you can rename it straight away. Another very powerful thing that many people will appreciate, I'm pretty sure, is that now you can have any channel in your arrangement as an input for recording. For example, let's say I have this audio track. As you can see, if I go here to my inputs, I can see not only my physical inputs from my interface, but I can also use groups as my inputs. I can use effects channels. I can use track instruments as inputs. So I can record on this track the output of any other channel in my project window. This is going to be very handy for people that work with analog gear and they want to record everything on the fly. The last thing that I want to show you is that we have a new user interface for the MIDI plugins. So here I have the Apache 5, but let's open one of my favorites. This is the Big Designer, and as you can see, now they look more modern. So there you go, my friends. I tried to make this video as short as humanly possible, but there was a lot of stuff to talk about, as you can see. I'm going to have many more videos coming up, so make sure you subscribe, and if you want to support the channel, you can use either the super thanks button right here, or you can check out my instruments, the Modern 80s drum kit, or the Apollo Expansion Apache. Let me know in the comments down below what you think about Cubase 13. I'll see you on the next one. Have fun. Bye-bye.
Go into the fold and turn the website layout into an art form with Clip Studio. Create the grid you want, shaping every section intuitively. And get down to detail with the coded control and pixel-perfect precision for the traffic drivers. Repeat your designs at scale to get the momentum your project needs. With all the flexibility, you adapt your layout across screen sizes, instantly. Deliver faster and set your creativity free.
If English isn't your first language like me, and you want to write with your best voice, consider trying Grammarly Pro today to elevate your skills. Grammarly Pro can help translate my primary language flawlessly and does it right where I'm writing. Another pro feature that I love is the one conclusions. This helps me rephrase entire sentences and paragraphs because these days less is more when it comes to writing. Consider trying Grammarly Pro today to elevate your skills, because using Grammarly helps me to go from English as my second language to my second nature.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Dom here, and today Dom is extremely happy, and you probably know why. The reason why is because Cubase 12 just dropped, so I would suggest you grab your popcorn, grab your snacks, grab your coffee, whatever you want, because this is a super beefy update. There's a lot of things to show you. There's going to be loads and loads of booms in this video, and I'm going to show you what's new right after this. I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first saw the feature list on Cubase 12, I was like, so many features that I wanted that were on the top of my wish list are now in Cubase 12. I can't believe it. And this is going to change the way you work in Cubase forever. I promise you that. Now, like I said, Cubase 12 is a massive update. There's so many new features in there that it's going to be impossible to show you all of them in one video because it would take hours and hours and hours. So make sure you subscribe because I'm going to be releasing videos where I go deep into each one of these features, and I'm going to be sharing quite a few secrets. Also some features that are not so obvious and are hidden. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of these, and make sure you also hit the bell. That's very, very important. Otherwise, you're not going to be notified. One huge change with Cubase 12 is that now Cubase doesn't require a dongle in order to run. I know this was something that many people were wishing that it happens at some point, and it's true. Now you can run Cubase without the dongle. And to be honest with you, I never had any big problem with the dongle. I was actually fine with it, but it's really nice now that I can take my laptop anywhere and I don't have to worry about having the dongle with me. So that's something that I know many people wanted, and now Cubase is officially dongle free. Okay, let's start with the number one thing that was on the top of my list for Cubase, and this is multi-track audio work. This is here and it's done properly. It's so good. Now, as you know, previously, if you wanted to do multi-track audio editing, you could do this, but there were some limitations. Now, you can actually do this in the project window. And you can do this with many options, and you can do this for pretty much any material. Okay? So let me show you. Right here, I have a drum recording. So let's play these drums. And these are actually real drums with proper microphones, no samples. So let's say I want to time correct these drums. Let me show you what you can do now. Of course, before you start, you need to place all your drums into a folder, like what I've done here, and you need to activate group editing. This is what we used to do before, okay? Now, check this out. What is this? This is the phase coherent audio work. That means that now when I start correcting these drums, I'm going to show you because this is really cool. Now the phase relationship between the microphones are going to be retained. So we're not going to have any phase issues. This is extremely important when you do multi-mic editing or you're working for multi-mic recordings. Okay, it's crucial. Now, let me show you how you do the audio work in the first window. You actually select the work grid. I've done a video about this. But now we also have the keyboard, and this changes everything. Let me show you. Let's say I want to go here and I want to tighten up these drums. So what can I do? I can just go here and start adding audio work markers. And it doesn't matter what channel I choose to do my working on. I can just go like this, and it will add the markers on all the tracks. So now I can say, okay, this snare was a little bit early. I can just go ahead and fix it. Same with this one, same with that one, and now let's play back. Yeah, maybe this as well, you know, so you can actually, as you can see, you can move everything as much as you like, okay? Now, for example, this kick drum is not exactly on the beat, so I can just add a point here and just move it, okay? And because I have the phase coherent audio work activated, we're going to have retention of the phase relationships. Now, let's go to this point here. Okay, let's say I want to time correct this portion. Now, as you can see, I don't have too much information on the kick drum or the snare. I have a lot of information on the overhead microphones. So I can actually go here and add my work markers here on the overhead microphones, because this is where I have my toms and I can see exactly what's going on. So now I can go here, and as you can see, you know, it's not exactly on time, so I can go here and just fix this, then fix this tom, and so on and so forth. The other great thing is I can, of course, add markers, as you can see here, and I can just hit Q, and they will be quantized according to my quantized value here. For example, again, this kick drum, I can add the marker, boom, see? Yeah, this one as well. Boom! Yeah, same here. You know, I can just add the markers very, very quickly. See how quickly you can work now. You go like this, add markers, there we go, and here, Q, and we're done. Super, super fast. Now, it goes without saying that this doesn't only work with multi-mic recordings. Let's say I want to select my drums, my bass, and my whirly. Now if I hit enter and I open my audio work editor, you will see that now I have the work markers here, but I can also go and edit all these different channels at once. And I start introducing work markers like that. For example, here I'm using my kick drum as a reference. I can just quantize, and everything, like the bass, the whirly, the drums are going to be quantized. Check this out, see? They all follow. How cool is that? Let's go here, for example, okay? And you can see I can start adding markers like this. And now I'm actually working with all the drums. So let's have a listen. Yeah, this one as well. Let's try and move it to the wrong position. You know, you can do everything, so you can actually correct an entire performance, an entire band performance super easily. You don't even need to sweat anymore. And it sounds great. You have the phase coherence for multi-mic instruments. Really, really amazing. Like I said, this works on pretty much everything. So I have another example to show you here. Here I have a string recorded that is one of my compositions for a documentary, and I want to show you that you can actually edit even complex material like this. So this is actually, as you can see, all the different channels. I have volume 1, volume 2, viola, cello, bass, the main pair mics, the room mics. So let's say I want to correct my strings here. Let's try this. I can just grab my free work tool and start adding points like this, like we did before. Exactly the same thing. So now I can just add points wherever I think we might need correction, and then I can just hit Q. Let's listen to 4. And perfect. Now I'm going to show you another thing that's a little bit more tricky. For example, here my string section was a little bit late, and probably it's because of my conducting actually, because they were amazing players. But let me show you how easily you can fix this now. So I can go here, add a point here, and maybe I want to add another point here, and I can go and start dragging this so that it lands right here. Let's have a listen now.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform. Describe what you want and watch it take shape. You can plan, customize, and expand in any direction. From tools built for one to platforms ready for many. From passion projects to enterprise-grade systems, everything is built in and ready to launch. It's a new world of creation, where you can go as far as your imagination takes you. Can you imagine it? Let's make your dream a reality right now.
really late. Late. Okay? Again, with a fix. And of course, I can move it freely, completely freely. Now, if I just click on this and open the sample editor, I can see everything at once. Again, all the channels like this. And I can go here, it depends on how you want to work. So it's very, very powerful. And as you can see, I also have the phase coherent audio work. It works really well, even on such complex recordings like a string section recording. Amazing. Another thing that I want to show you that ties in very well with this is that now in the sampler editor, you can actually use the quantized values to change the resolution here. So you can have triplets, for example, okay? So I can just go here, let's say I want to set this to a triplet, or I can change this to 16th notes, to dotted notes, anything you want to do. Beautiful. Now the next feature is again from the top of my wish list, and this is Scale Assistant in Vario. I think I talked about my wish that this feature was there in one of my previous videos, and now it is there. So let me show you what you can do with this. So for example, if I open this vocal into my sample editor and I go to my Vario audio, now you will see that we have the Scale Assistant there. Now, first of all, what we can do with this is the Scale Assistant can give us some suggestions for the scale, the key of the vocal. And you can choose any of these. For example, in my case, I have an E minor vocal here, so I selected E minor. Now, what you can do with this, like with the Scale Assistant in the key editor, you can show scale note guides to begin with. So as you can see, we have the guides right here, and we can also activate snap pitch editing, okay, like this. So let's say I take this note, for example. So as you can see, it actually snaps to the correct notes of this key, which is amazing. Now, if you don't have music theory knowledge or harmony knowledge, this will be super, super invaluable for you, because you can tune a vocal and you can have the peace of mind that your tuning is going to be correct, okay? Now, if you know about music theory and you know your scales and all these things, this is still really, really cool because it allows you to work faster. It prevents you from misclicking or placing a note in the wrong place. And the snapping thing really, really helps with that. Now, the other thing is, for example, if I have something that's in between, I can also quantize the pitches and it will take it to the nearest note for that particular scale. So this is amazing. Before, when you did that, it would take it to the closest pitch, okay? Now it actually takes into account the scale of the piece. Now, let me show you what else you can do, because the most important thing for this feature, in my opinion, is that you can start creating harmonies very, very easily. And when I'm talking about harmonies, I'm not talking about static harmonies that just follow the chords, but I'm talking about dynamic harmonies, harmonies that follow the pitch, right? So basically, thirds, sixths, all these things. So as you can see here, I have my original vocal, and then I've duplicated this right here. So let me show you how quickly I can come up with a brand new vocal harmony. So I'm going to double click on this, and now I'm going to select all my notes for my second vocal, and let's go for this one. For example, I'm going to try and find some random notes. This is a G. Let's go 1/3 above, right? So I don't need to sweat because Scale Assistant is going to take care of everything. So 1, 2, this is a third above, right? And now have a listen. I didn't even have to sweat. That took seconds. If I had to do this with the previous Vario audio, I would have to correct a lot of things because it wasn't taking into account the key. Fantastic. Now the next thing that I want to talk about, I didn't expect to see it in Cubase. I actually never expected to see this in any DAW, but I was really surprised when I tried it, and this is the audio to chords function. Let me show you how this works. Say you have a piano track. Say you have a full track, a full song. Say you have some vocal stacks, some choirs. Now you can use any audio in Cubase, drag it into a chord track, and then Cubase will detect the chords and it will lay them down in the chord track. Let me show you. Let's take this pad for example, okay? Something really simple. I'm going to drag it onto my chord track, okay? Let me do this. And now Cubase analyzes these chords. This is in real time. I didn't speed it up, right? It's that fast. And as you can see, it gives me the chords. This track plays. And the great thing is, even if it doesn't detect the chord 100% of the times, you can still go here and say, okay, let's go to my chord assistant and let's see what other suggestions I have there. So the first one is the one that Cubase thinks is the closest one. And then you can try out different chords and see if you agree with a different suggestion more than what's already suggested. So this is an incredible feature, especially if you want to do remixes and you want to figure out the chords really fast, especially if you want to do mashups. I love it because I'm going to be able to drop any song and then I'm going to have the entire chord arrangement laid out. And of course I can listen and see if I want to modify anything. But I want to give you a challenge. Try and throw in a really complex track. Try We Are the Champions, okay? I tried it. It works so well. I can't play it here because I'm going to have the video flag, but try it and check how well it figures out all these complex chords, because Queen, come on, they do some really complex chord progressions. So this is massive, and you can drag in anything. You can drag in your pad. You can actually get multiple files like this and drag them into the chord track, and it will figure out the chords from the sound of the track. So it's really, really powerful. Let me know in the comments down below if you expect this feature in Cubase 12. I didn't. Now before I forget, I want to mention that Cubase 12 is now a native Apple Silicon application. So now you can take advantage of these amazing CPUs with M1 processors with the new MacBook Pros. Unfortunately, I don't have one yet, but I keep my eyes on them because they look like they're super powerful machines. And maybe I'm going to make a video about this. I really want to get my hands on one of these machines because they're very promising. And now with Cubase 12, you won't need to run Rosetta. It's a native app, so that means everything is going to be super smooth. Now, the next feature is actually one of the things that I personally think is one of the secrets in Cubase, and this is what separates Cubase from any other DAW when it comes to workflow, speed, and all these things. And this is the logical editor. Now, I've made a video about this, and I'm showing you quite a few tricks on how to set it up and what it can do for you. Basically, it allows you to work super fast. But now with Cubase 12, we have big improvements when it comes to the logical editor. So let me select a MIDI file to begin with. I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to go to MIDI logical editor setup, and you will see that now we have a brand new look, more modern, and quite a few new things. So you can see that we have the presets here, and the great thing that I really appreciate is that the earlier presets that you have created, like in my case, I had quite a few presets, as you know, key commands and all these things, they're all here. And now we also have a presets location that you can open straight away, so you can share presets with other people, because I talked about it in the previous video. It was a little bit hard to find the presets or add presets in the previous version. Not anymore. Now we have quite a few options, and this opens a world of possibilities which I'm not gonna go into in this video because it's gonna take like 2 hours. But
हेलो जय मसी हजुर मैले पाएँ पेमेन्ट डिजिटै त्यसले गर्दा हेर्नु सकिनँ अनि त्यो थर्डको पनि रेडी छ म अहिले भरे पठाइदिन्छु तपाईँलाई
Basically, you can do all sorts of control changes, copy CC modulation, you can shift the CC position, you can copy and extract highest notes from chords, you can delete, you can do musical context, which is really cool. You can add a sub-bass to chords just with one click, change chords from major to minor and so on and so forth. You can transpose notes with many different parameters, you can change the lengths. All with one click, you can add different kick commands for these things. You can be so fast. Extract kick drum to new track, one of my new favorite things. Now the logical editor is so powerful because you can actually have all these different actions. You can do delete, transform, insert exclusive. If these things don't mean anything to you, check my video. But if you're interested, I'm going to make an updated video about the new logical editor. Let me know in the comments down below, because we have the logical editor, we have the project logical editor as well, which I use to color my tracks very, very fast. Here we also have many different things like pre and post commands, post-process commands. It's just unreal. And now the logical editor is much more powerful than ever. And another thing that has been improved is the project input transformer. Now I use this for many different things. For example, this thing allows you to say, okay, I have a keyboard like the CP, the Reface CP, that doesn't have a mod wheel, and you can make another controller on that keyboard act like a mod wheel, so transmit CC1. Or you might want to filter out aftertouch. You know, some keyboards generate aftertouch, like the Yamaha Montage, but some virtual instruments don't really work well with that, especially some drum instruments. I'm gonna make a video about this actually. And with the input transformer, you can actually filter those messages, so you don't have to do this in the hardware, you can actually do it in Keybase. Really, really nice. Now, I wouldn't say that was a big update, a beefy update, deep update, if we didn't have any new effects. And we have new plugins in Cubase as well, and they are fantastic. Let me show you. I'm going to show you one of the plugins that honestly deserves its own video, and it's probably going to be a super long video. And this is the effects modulator. I mean, this plugin is fantastic. It's so powerful, so deep. I'm going to play this part and I'm going to introduce it. Pretty standard. So basically, what is the FX modulator? FX modulator consists of many different modules, okay? So you have all these different modules to choose from. So chorus, filter, width, bit crusher, pitch shifter, compressor, time shifter, flanger, multi-mode, panning, overdrive, frequency shifter, volume, reverb, and all these effects you can modulate. You can modulate all these effects by using these curves here. And as you can see, we have different waveforms, we have LFO pumps, many different waveforms, and you can actually change the waveforms yourself. So for example, if I play this back again, change. I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. You can actually time them. You can move things around like this. You can have undo. You can create random curves like this. You can filter the range of the effects. So you can say, I only want these effects to take place in the mid-range, or just in the top end, or just in the low end, and you can activate a filter band and you can filter them. Check this out. Like I said, I'm going to make a video. Let me know in the comments down below, and actually all the things that I'm showing you here today, let me know which ones you want me to do a deeper video about. And I'm going to take the suggestions in the comments, and I'm going to prioritize the videos because I have so many videos to do now.